The whole map of India is essentially CSIR. So that kind of vision is important to remember for younger people, people who are to come, that this is the vision very clearly laid down for the future of this country. And whenever we feel threat for our country, solutions to those threats are coming only again from this direction. As is happening now, we have a, I was just talking about how our pharmaceutical stability, pharmaceutical safety is now being threatened because of over dependence on importing API from China. Now we have tariff on pharmaceutical industry from United States, and I think that's the reason that we have to really be always careful about to build our own capacities. And on this particular day, for you particularly, it's very important to remember your founder and the year that I passed here, or 11 and a half year I was here. There was not a single day I did not think about him, what he would have expected us. I really don't believe in individual recognitions. I could do what you could do. And I can tell you, in an institution, the weakest person in the institution is actually director. He doesn't show you. Okay? Strongest people are the ones who are in the labs, who are working with vision that the director provides. So if scientists are happy, productive, director in any way happy and productive. So it's like that. So always remember that you had an outstanding leader who set a very high benchmark globally. Okay, who wrote the India's Drug and Cosmetic Act, sitting here in the somewhere in that office, right? Which he wrote the document through which original aims were set up. He wrote the document through which PGI Chandigarh and Puducherry were set up. He wrote basically essentially the curriculum of the medical curriculum that medical colleges follow. So this I am now rediscovering again my new capacity there, that how much phenomenal these people were. So always remember him on this day and every day, because you are very fortunate to have that kind of legacy, and that's your benchmark. I am not your benchmark, he is not your benchmark. I am actually lesser benchmark, but he is the ultimate benchmark even today. So keep that benchmark in mind. I think all confusion will go away when in this institution here, world's first blood pressure lowering drug was discovered. Imagine 1940 I'm telling about. That is how the legacy, how deep that legacy goes. And the book that he wrote, which I always kept during my PhD days, I used to keep that book with me, Glossary of Indian Medicinal Plants. I think if you have not seen it, go and see it. It just set the foundation for drug discovery, foundation for rest, biodiversity, everything that has come. So it's important that we remember that the benchmark that you have, and you have done very well, and you continue to do very well. What I will do today is, since it is a CSIR Foundation Day, in the first half of my presentation, I will talk about where we are as far as the drug, pharma, biopharma landscape in India that equals in CSIR. And then I will flag some areas where I think we are doing and we should be doing things. And there are opportunities, funding opportunities which are available, new opportunities that are there. And in the new role that I have been doing for here, and particularly opportunity that came our way during COVID time. And I think that was the time when we realized that this organization, not only I am the CSR organization, rose to the challenge of handling the crisis during of that viral pandemic. So it's important to remember that what we are capable of during time of stress, what we could do. So in time of peace, we should be able to aiming at that. So I think that's important. So with this, what I will do is that I will take you through to some of these important initiatives that are happening in this particular knowledge base. Some of will be known to you, some may not be known to you. And since I am largely involved in healthcare theme of CSIR, my role is to evolve new programs, create new funding opportunities across the CSIR. So it may not be IIIL centric, but it will be CSIR centric. So in knowledge base in CSIR, where you will see this institution deeply engaged in new chemical entities. This is your forte, and your new chemical entities foundations are in natural products. And of course, there are generic drugs. Some of you will be working with the Kilo Lab. I think it was set up here. Something is happening. So I think your primary role through that initiative is to support local cluster of pharmaceutical industry there. They are your best partner and they are best advocate for you. Support them. And of course, the regulatory path. And as of now, 80% of the drugs then globally approved, they come from this area. And out of that, 50% continue to come from natural sources. And almost all first-in-class drugs continue to come from natural sources. So that source is ever going to be available with you with more power, with the power of artificial intelligence and genomics pulled together. I think we will have a new revolution in this domain very soon. Biological entities where therapeutic proteins, monoclonal antibodies, other enzymes. So I think the fermentation facilities that are have been there, that are being set up, this new facility that we are setting up, is important that allocate at least 10 to 20% effort in therapeutic side, beyond dietary, beyond probiotic, prebiotic, 10%, 20% effort, if not in new biologics, but at least using genetic tools to do improvement so you can make better biotherapeutics, right? So that something is very much possible because you have upstream, downstream, all these facilities available to you. Phytopharmaceutical drugs, which was, you can very proudly take credit that this institution literally started this. This got the regulatory guidelines set up thanks to Dr. Handa. Before me, Dr. Nityanand and Dr. Handa literally persuaded. Then I came on the board, and then we, Dr. GNC, all together, we got this regulation passed. But this is under threat now because we need to get pipeline filled. Having regulation in place is fine. You convince politicians, convince parliament, get things done, that's very easy part. But we have to fill that pipeline so that there are clinical studies happening. So I'm happy that at least couple of your leads have got regulatory approval, but they should go to clinical trial. Thankfully, one of the CDRI molecule has gone to clinical trial, so at least we have something to show. And of course, diagnostic and vaccines. These are this landscape. Younger people, I want to show this slide, and this recently I made, that drug discovery and drug research in this country and in the world has a very deep root in CSIR. In CSIR, and your first director. This is very critical. After a lot of research, I came to this. So this actually started somewhere 1938 when this first blood pressure lowering medicine was discovered by this group at Calcutta. When Dr. Chopra was in Calcutta, he was director of an institute in Calcutta. And Jawaharlal Nehru convinced him that enough is enough. Now you have to come to your state. And many of you would not know that he came here, he gave his own land where you are sitting, perhaps, and some other, and that's how these, most of the CSIR institutions were built like this. People gave land, gave money, gave everything. Recently I visited SIMFA, I visited CFTR, everywhere I go, that there were a whole new generation of people who were so fascinated with science at that time, with the dreams for new India. And that is how these are built. They are not just appeared from somewhere. They appeared in the time when resources were very limited, but still they gave you first world facility in the third world setting. So that's a privilege that we carried on. And then two individuals were taken away from Calcutta, Sir Ramnath Chopra to DRL here, Drug Research Laboratory here, which became RLL, then became IIIM, where we are standing today. Dr. B. Mukherjee and Dr. Chopra used to work together, and B. Mukherjee was picked up from Calcutta and sent to CDRI Lucknow as the second director of CDRI. The first was an Englishman, somebody who discovered the vitamin D3, which we use every day, Sir Malanby, and then B. Mukherjee. So both of them were sent to these two labs. And these labs still today in the CSIR system and the country are the deep root into these expertise. Despite all these new institutions have come where people will glibly talk about drug discovery, this, but they have hardly except making molecule and testing some trivial in vitro in vivo tests. Remember that. So that edge we must keep. If you lose that edge, then you are lost in that big crowd which has more money, more resources today. So it's important. And then third gentleman here is very important. Professor R.J. Vakil. He was a leading physician in Bombay, and he set up a hospital in Ranchi. In fact, he set up the